All right, let's start with a warm-up with something that we did yesterday. So I want to make sure that you guys did get yesterday's stuff down. So our warm-up for today. Give you guys about a minute. What is it? That is a 3. I'll rewrite it for you guys. My bad. There we go. So it's 2.3 times 10 to the third plus 1.4 times 10 to the first. Okay, just to make sure that you guys are on the same page. What exponent should I keep? 3. The third. So which one do I need to manipulate? The first. Very good. So what do I need to add to this one? Plus 2, which is going to make the decimal move how many times? To the what? Very good. How many guys need a little more time? Okay. Keep going. All right, so let's get going. So like you guys said, we are going to manipulate this one over here. We're going to manipulate the one that has 10 to the first. You know what? I'll highlight the whole thing. So it's going to be 1.4 times 10 to the first power. And what did you guys say I was going to add to it? I'm going to add 2 to this, which is going to make my decimal move how many times? Twice. So 1, 2. So now my number is going to be 0.014 times 10 to the what? Third power. And what's the other one? We didn't have to do anything to that one, right? Okay, very good. So now that we have the same exponents, how do I add them? 2.3 plus what? What do I have to do, though? Very good. Which gives me 2.314. How many guys got that? But that's not my final answer, right? My final answer is going to be 2.314 to what power? 10 to the third power. Raise your hand if you got that. Very good. Pretty simple. We're okay with scientific notation? Okay. All right. So today what we're going to be doing is now, instead of adding or subtracting, now we're moving into what? Multiplying and dividing. So multiply and divide. Scientific notation. Sorry if the notes look a little sloppier than usual. Figured if I moved around it'd be a little bit more helpful. Okay, so let's just go into an example since you guys already kind of know what this stuff is. All right, what I want you guys to remember here is that there's a reason we did properties of exponents before we did scientific notation. We need to use our properties of exponents here. All right, so what's going on between this first thing in the parentheses and the second thing in the parentheses. What's going on between the yellow highlighted portion and the blue highlighted portion? How do I know that they're being multiplied? There's no multiplication sign, so how do I know? Victor? There's what? Yeah, but there's no dot there, so how do I know this is multiplication? Eden? Exactly. There's nothing in between them. The equations are next to each other. You can assume multiplication. How many of you guys didn't know that? Because I know a lot of you guys asked that question before. Was that something new for you guys this year? No? Okay. This means multiplication, guys. All right? So, I want you to think of this. Go back to when we were doing rules of exponents. If I had a to the fourth times a to the second, what would the answer for that be? A to the what? A to the 6. How come?
Because you just add the two exponents.
Yeah, so it's just 4 plus 2. What property is that?
Power.
Well, yeah, they're all powers, but power of a what? Not power of a power. Product of a power, right? Power of a product, whatever that one was. So this is a to the what? A to the 6th power. Okay, because we had the same what?
Base.
We had the same base, and it was being what?
Multiply.
Multiplied. What's the base for this one?
10.
What's the base for this one?
10.
And what's going on between both of them?
And then multiply.
They're being multiplied. Does that make sense? So what I want you guys to see here is it kind of like the addition. We're going to focus first on our power 10s. So it's going to be times 10 to the second power. I'm going to put that in parentheses. And times 10 to the 5th power. I'm going to put it in parentheses. What do you guys think this is going to become? Times 10 to the what? Times 10 to the 7th power, because we're using our properties here. So it's, you basically add your exponents. Does that make sense? So one of my answers, or part of my answer, is going to be times 10 to the 7th. Where do you guys think I get the other portion? What do I do with the 2.3 and the 1.4, guys? I just multiply them. Okay, so I'm going to do the side work over here. 2.3 times 1.4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Put my placeholder. Okay, 1 times 3 is 3. And then 1 times 2 is 2. So it's going to be 2. 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry the 1. How many? So it's 322, but it's not 322 because I have a decimal point I have to move. How many times do I move my decimal point? Twice, right? So my answer is going to be 3.22 times 10 to the 7th. Does that make sense? And is this in correct form? How do I know that this is correct form for scientific notation? What's the only thing I'm really looking at for scientific notation?
If it's higher than 1 but lower than 10.
Exactly. Has to be greater than or equal to 1 because it could be 1, but it cannot be equal to 10. It has to be less than 10. So in this case, I have 3.22, so that works. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Go ahead, Jacob. What's up?
On the, what is it?
On the area?
Yeah. Don't you like add remove decimal?
Yes, if your answer was like 0.322 and you had to move it back, then that's going to change your decimal. Or that's going to change your exponent. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. But in this case, it didn't, so we're okay. Okay. Are we good, guys? Should we try another one? Yeah.
When we first started doing scientific notation, one of the examples, the answer was like 0, 0, 0, 0. Just like
Uh-huh.
but if it's like wait, never mind.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good for another example? Any other questions before I write it? All right, let's go. Give you guys about a minute. It's a multiplication. How do we know it's multiplication? There's nothing in between it, yeah. Just by looking at it, we can tell what our exponent's going to be. What's our exponent going to be? Times 10 to the what? To the 6. How do I get that 6? Added the what? Added the exponents. Very good. Sorry. How many of you guys find this a little bit easier? We don't have to worry about moving the decimal or anything like that because we're not adding or subtracting, right? The only hard thing about this is you have to multiply, and sometimes the decimals can be kind of weird, but I mean, multiplication shouldn't be that hard, and if the numbers get really crazy, we can always use a calculator, right? Okay, you guys ready for this one? Who needs more time? Okay, keep going. Got it? Alright, so I'm going to go a little bit backwards on this one. Instead of doing the exponents first, I'm going to do the decimals first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 5.1 times 2.7. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Put my placeholder. Then 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 5 is 10. When I add this, it'll be 7. 7, 3, 1. And how many times do I move my decimal, guys? Twice. So it's be 1, 2. So my answer is going to be 13.77. And now I'm going to do my exponents. So the exponents over here, I have 10 to the 4th times 10 to the 2nd, which becomes 10 to the what? So times 10 to the 6th. That's, how many guys got that? Oh, I was hoping you guys would say no. What's wrong with this?
It's not
Alexia?
It's over 10.
It's over 10. That 13 is over 10, right? So there's still something to change on this. How many times do I got to move my decimal point? Once, which is going to add what to the 6? It's going to add 1 to the 1 to the 6. Okay, so it's going to be, my answer is going to be 1.377 times 10 to the what? 7th power. Okay, how many of you guys still got the first one, but you keep on forgetting that 1 to 10 rule? Okay, if you keep on forgetting that 1 to 10 rule, like, put it over here in big letters. Answer must be what? Must be, you could just put between 1 and 10 if you want. Okay, that's a really good habit to get into. If you notice that you're making a certain mistake over and over and over again, then make a note of it. If you write it once, it kind of like burns into your brain. I don't know why, but it does. That's why sometimes making the same mistake, it's kind of annoying at the beginning, but as soon as you get it, you'll probably never make that mistake again. Does that make sense? Okay. Are we okay with multiplication? Should we do some division? I think we're on example 3, right? You guys are going to probably need calculators for this. These are not going to divide very nicely. That's the only thing about the division. The numbers, when you're dividing decimals, it's usually not a nice number. Remember, if you're borrowing a calculator, leave your ID up there.
Well, my ID was already up there.
Then you're good. So everybody ready? Okay, I don't expect you guys to finish this one. We're going to do this one together. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, again, we're going to do that section first. So I'm going to pretend if I just gave you 5.4 divided by 3.1, you would just divide those, right? So it's going to be 5.4 inside the house with 3.1 outside the house. Now I'm not going to do it long division. I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, so what did you guys get? 5.4 divided by 3.1. What did you guys get? 1.7419. So from this I get 1.7419. Now it keeps on going, but I'm just going to leave it there. 1.7419. Okay. Now what do I do with the exponents? I do what? I subtract. How come? This is quotient. Very good. Yes? It doesn't matter how many numbers you put. I just like to put a couple. So to be safe, I would at least go to your thousands place. Okay, I went to my 10,000s. So remember, that's your tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Go to at least your thousands place if it's available. Okay. So let's do this over here. This is going to be 10 to the 6th power over 10 to the 3rd power. And you guys already said that you're going to use your quotient rule, which tells you to subtract these two. So what's 10? What's 6 minus 3? So the answer is going to be times 10 to the what? 3rd power. That's it. It's not bad at all, right? Okay. Like I said, multiplication and division always found a lot simpler than addition or subtraction. Just because with addition or subtraction, there's so many little things that you have to do. Okay, let's do another one. Go ahead, guys, see what you can get for that.
Any help with reading?
No, not today. I think you guys did yesterday. That was about it. Thank you, though. Yep.
So 3.1 divided by 7 is 2, right? But since it's going this way, would it be negative 2?
You have them backwards. The 1.7 should be inside the house.
Oh.
Yes.
Because it was 2 divided, well, it'd be minus 5, so it'd be negative 3, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Still not right, though.
I know what to do.
It's yours.
Exponents. Did I write it like this, or do you want me to switch them?
No, that's fine.
Yeah?
All right, guys, let's go over this one. So I saw this a couple times, and it's okay. I know the habit is to always put the bigger number inside the house, but this is 1.7 being divided by 3.4. So what goes inside the house? And the 3.4 goes on the outside. Now I'm not going to do this by hand. I'm just going to use my calculator, and that's going to give me what? 0. What? 0.5. Okay, so 1.7 divided by 3.4 is 0.5. Now I'm going to do my exponents, which most of you guys did very well. I know some of you guys felt a little uncomfortable getting a negative number, right? But that's what you're going to get. So I'm going to do second minus 5, which gives you 10 to the what? So it's times 10 to the negative third power. Raise your hand if you got that as an answer. Again, guys, you guys have to really, really pay attention here. Why is that not right? Has to be between 1 and 10. If you didn't write it last time like I asked you, then maybe you should write it this time. Because if you made that mistake twice, guys, I would hate for you to do all that work and still get no points on the question because you didn't pay attention to that part. Write that down, okay? It's going to be helpful. Now, in this one, I want you to be careful. Which way do I move my decimal? I move it to the right. When I move it to the left, I was adding, right? Since I'm moving to the right, what am I doing now? So be very careful here. I know some of you guys struggle with negatives. This is going to be 5 times 10 to the what? Negative what? No. Negative 4. It's two negatives, so they just add up to each other. They don't subtract them. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, that's probably what's gonna get the most to you guys. That's the mistake that I'm gonna see the most often. It's gonna be the forgetting to turn it into between 1 and 10, and then having to deal with your negatives. Are we okay with this one? Yeah.